Hello everyone, welcome back to Edubbey Global Solution. Today we'll be looking at mixed economic system. Now what do we mean by a mixed economic system? Let's go ahead. A mixed economic system is a system that combines aspects of both capitalism, which is individual, and socialism, which is government. Now we have market economic. These are the features of market economic system. It is owned by private sectors, of course, by demand and the supplier. It has freedom to start business, and it's also supply and demand, as I said earlier. Now we have the command economy here, which is also known as planned economy, which is owned by the government, and it's government that regulates the policy inside the market. Now we have the price control also. So the combination of the market economic and planned economic system is known as mixed economic system. Now let us move to the next slide. We have just one activities here which explain what mixed economic is. Which situation indicates a mixed economic? We just define our mixed economics not too long. Now let us check the options here. The government carry out all planning and decision making. Is that so? The mixture of the capitalism and socialism. Now, services are provided by both private and public sector. Economic activities is controlled entirely by the private sector. Individual choices are unaffected by government action. Of course, the answer is the services are provided by both private and public sector. That's the combination of the private and public sector. Now we move to the next slide. Moving to the next slide, where we have maximum and minimum price in products. We have maximum prices and minimum prices. We have maximum prices as set below the equilibrium price, that is, the lower the price but lead to shortage. Why minimum prices are set above the equilibrium price, and they also help the producers but lead to surplus. Now let us check this diagram out. We have the maximum price here, that is the maximum price as set below the equilibrium, and this is our equilibrium point, and this is our maximum price for product. It is set below the equilibrium price. Now we move to the minimum price. This is our equilibrium point, and our minimum prices in product is set above the equilibrium point. Now let us move to the next slide, where we have the government intervention to address market failure. What will government do to address market failure? Number one, we have subsidy and indirect tax. Indirect taxes. Government may subsidize a number of countries' firms, taxing the public and giving the money to the industry. Of course, that should be the number one intervention to address market failure. That is when demand and supply fail to comply. Now we have regulation. Regulation, which includes rules and law, can also be made by government to place restriction on the activities of firms. Now, nationalization and privatization. Government will set up an industry or nationalize a private sector industry to benefit the public and to improve economic performance. Of course, it should also be the government intervention. Now we move to competition policy. Competition policy. Government puts competition policy to prevent firms from abusing their market power. And also unfairness. Government also intervene on ground of equity, that is fairness. Fairness. Now we move to the next slide. We have activity here also, which is known as a past question. The government has an important role in mixed economics, yes. Which function will it not perform? Which function will it not perform? Now, employing workers to collect taxes, distributing dividends from profits of state-owned enterprises, producing goods in public corporation, investing in infrastructure, project. Now, which function will it not perform? Of course, government might employ workers to collect tax. Government produce public good also. They also invest in, of course, distribution dividend from profit of state-owned enterprise is not a function of government in mixed economy. Moving to the next slide. Moving to the next slide, where we have the effectiveness of government intervention in overcoming market failure. Of course, we have discussed about market failure in our previous class, where government doesn't intervene in the market policy. Now, what is now the effectiveness of government intervention in overcoming market failure? Of course, we have even income distribution. We have even income distribution. There will not be even uneven distribution if government intervene in the market, because government will use progressive tax techniques which will make the consumer to pay tax according to their level of income, and secure public goods and service. Government will provide transportation, public goods, national park, etc. That is also an effectiveness of government intervention in overcoming market failure. Property rights and welfare opportunities for those who cannot afford. Of course, that is also part of them. And there will be no social injustice. Moving to the next past question here, where we have one past question here. Why does the government provide certain goods and services in a mixed economic system? Now let us check the options out. Why does the government provide certain goods and services in a mixed economic system? The government provide public goods because private firms cannot charge for them. The second option says the government provides goods to prevent the development of monopolies. Is that so? The government always provides goods more cheaply than private firms, and the government considers only private costs and benefits. No, of course, the answer is the government provides public goods. Now, moving to the next activities here. What is the major advantage of a market economic system over a mixed economic system? Of course, we have talked earlier about market economic system in our previous class, where the forces of demand and supply regulate the price in the market. Now, what is now the major advantage of a market economic system over a mixed economic system? Number one says ownership of resources is divided between private and public sector. Is that so? Producer include any external cost they create in the price of the good. All production of goods and services is determined by consumer demand. There will always be an even distribution of income and wealth. Of course, the advantages is all production of goods and service is determined by the consumer demand in market economic system. This will be the end of this class. Stay tuned to our website www.edubbey.com. See you in the next class.